about it. Wow. Let us talk about it. Mm, 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 mm. Good to have you on here, man.
Oh, it's gonna be fun.
Okay, hold on. Let me turn this down. All right. What's happening, everybody? It's your boy Leo, and welcome to the bird section. Oh, you know, I apologize, y'all. It's been a minute since y'all heard from me because I think I haven't posted in like a day or so or a couple of days. So I wanted to hop back on here because I know we are in week 3. We got to start getting ready for the Rams coming up next weekend, but before we turn the page on week 2 with the Kansas City Chiefs, I had to bring Reggie back because like this is that crow eating time, right? Because you guys all remember all the inflammatory things my man had to say last week when it came to the Philadelphia Eagles coming into Arrowhead and getting the job done. Got to give it to my man. Integrity is a big thing, and look who's here, y'all. He showed up. Reggie showed up. So I got to give the man his props. For being here. Reggie, what's good, man? How you doing?
Uh, I still got a headache, bro. I still got a headache. Hey,
Yeah.
no, it's good, man. Everything's good in Kansas City. Nothing to panic about, nothing to freak out about.
Mm-hmm.
It's a well played game, hard fought game.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember the things that I told you were the keys to the Chiefs winning,
Yep.
they didn't do any of them.
Yep.
Didn't do one of them.
Yep.
So
Yep. I was about to tell you. I don't think I saw anything that you said that they needed to do actually happen. But did they actually have the personnel to do it?
that O line is worse than I thought it was.
Mm.
The O line is worse than I thought it was. That was the biggest takeaway for me. You could not get Pacheco started. You couldn't
Yeah.
get now. You said something to me Sunday night when we talked briefly after the game that made me stop and think. And you said to me that looked like Andy Reid his last season in Philly,
Yep.
how the offense was running,
Yep.
and Andy gets stubborn. Andy gets really stubborn.
Yeah. It's the same. It was the same thing here. Yep.
Why is Kareem Hunt the featured running back right now? Kareem Hunt was good 5 years ago,
Mm.
6 years ago.
Mm.
Guess what? He wasn't wearing a Chiefs uniform at that time because you had to ship him off.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So now you've got a running back that only could muster 30 yards. You realize 2 weeks in a row the leading rusher for the Kansas City Chiefs is Patrick Mahomes.
For the last 2 weeks, yes.
Last two
Yep.
weeks,
Yep. Yep.
he is the only guy on the team that has rushed for more than 100 yards combined over those 2 weeks.
Yep. Yep.
You're not going to
Yep.
win very many games with that. Hollywood Brown had 5 catches for 30 yards.
Yep.
He didn't get at all.
Yep. Yep.
Don't make me start on Travis Kelsey. So it was,
Yeah, that was
it was,
gonna be a question. Like, what's
I'm
going on
sure
with Travis? Like what was the I'm sick of this shit like thing, like he was slamming his helmet down and everything like that. What was that? And what up, Donald? Donald said, "What up, Leo? 2-0 never looked so good." And the Chiefs are a bunch of crybabies. Fly, Eagles fly. My man. And I appreciate everybody that's here in the chat, that's here watching. Do your boy a favor, hit that like and subscribe button. You know what I'm saying? Go
no,
ahead. Tell me what's up with
I'm
Travis.
gonna address the crybaby thing too. But let me state beforehand, I'm addressing it tongue in cheek. You already know my sense of humor and personality, so I'll
Got you.
address the crybaby in a little bit. But we got other stuff to talk about first. I don't know what's up with Kelsey. You and I talked about this before the season started, where I
Hmm.
I was concerned that the last day of training camp, you got a podcast announcing Taylor's new album.
Yep.
At the cut day, NFL cut day, they announced their engagement.
Yep. You said this.
The weekend after that, we got the Kingdom
No,
series
yeah.
being released, and they got the
Yep.
big red carpet and all the players. It was like they're taking a victory lap, only they
Yep.
forgot to win the game first.
Yep.
So I was concerned going into the season where Kelsey was mentally, because let's face it, we already know. You just look at the stats. We already know he's an aging tight end. His
Yeah.
numbers are down. His numbers are down. Nothing wrong with that. Father time is undefeated. You just, but I heard somebody say today on Sports Talk, age doesn't have anything to do with your hands and catching ability. That's focus and concentration.
Yep.
And that bobble
Yep.
going into I mean, that's supposed to be your money, count on it play. Travis is open. Mahomes gets the ball in his hands. Whether Mahomes say he threw it a split second too early, and I've watched. Have you watched that replay?
I seen it. It was right there in his hands.
It didn't look like a bad pass to me.
Yeah.
I mean, Mahomes is taking the heat and taking the blame and saying it's, and I've seen some other people
Y'all
say,
can't cover this
well,
up. Yeah. I know they trying to, but you
they
can't cover
trying.
this up. We were watching it. Yep.
Now, Travis is typically this time last year, Travis was on a pitch count. So
Mm.
what concerns me, and it concerns me with Mahomes too, what concerns me going forward into the season is you guys have exposed something now that other teams could be replicating and watching, because
Hmm.
the Chargers did the same thing the week before, where Mahomes was the leading rusher for the team. They didn't let people get over the top of them. They kept you in front. Kelsey got his catches, but it just it's not enough. They
Hmm.
waited for the mistakes,
Hmm.
and the mistakes are coming from the wrong place. So yeah, I mean the whole game was to me, I take my hat off to the Eagles, because you always say, keep the important
The
thing.
main thing. The main thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, ugly, ugly, ugly game, but it didn't matter because the Eagles led and basically were in control of it. What did they only trail once in the first half? Wasn't it like 10-7?
Yeah. I was gonna say when Mahomes ran the ball in,
Yeah.
it was because it was 7-3, and then he ran it in for a touchdown, and that's when it became 10-7. After
Yeah.
that, we didn't
Yeah.
trail anymore after that.
Tied it up going into halftime, and the second half
Yep.
was Eagles.
Yep.
And
Yep.
their one chance to get momentum, he pops the ball up and gets
At
picked
the
off and goes
in
the
the
other way.
end zone at that, right
At
at the
that.
end zone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is
Yeah.
and that was like a 13 play drive at that point.
Right.
And they talk about how hot it was down on the field, and
It
you
was
get to
miserable
the
hot that day.
yeah, and then you get to the end, and then that happens, and real quick, Donald says no one cares. She sucks, and her husband sucks. They both so trash. Fly Eagles fly. Donnie Four, what's good, big dog? You know what I'm saying? Do me a favor while you're in here. Everybody do hit that like and subscribe button. Help your boy out because you know what your man is trying to get done. Now, Reggie, and again, I first of all, props to you. I'm an integrity type of person, and the fact that you even showed up like you said you would speaks a lot to the integrity that you carry. So you're always welcome here at the bird section, no matter what, no matter when. Okay. And
Right.
I value your opinion on these things, but I want to talk about what is what this is 2 days since the game, you
Yep.
know how are they talking now in market? Like, what are they saying? Like, are they playing a blame game? And if so, who are they blaming it on? Uh-oh.
There's a lot of blame game happening right now. There was actually a segment on the radio today about if this doesn't turn around, who loses their job, and
Mm,
making the case for Nagy being on the hot seat of
Really?
losing his job because you can't get rid of Andy. You can't do anything. You're not going to do anything about Mahomes.
Right.
You can't get rid of Brett Veach because he basically does what Andy wants him to do, and nothing's happening to him for a
Yeah.
while either.
You're not gonna get rid of Spags.
Yeah. So if it doesn't turn around, I mean, there's already the speculation for that. Travis is taking a lot of. So here's what Travis did that a lot of people did not like.
Mm.
Not only did he throw his tantrum and make the mistake, but then he also refused to talk to the media after the game.
Oh, really?
Did no media interviews after the game Sunday night.
Really?
The D line has a ton of money invested in it, and they ain't do anything, man. They didn't do
Mm.
anything. Chris Jones didn't touch Jalen Hurts
Mm-hmm.
on Sunday.
Mm-hmm. Well, you guys held Saquon to 88 yards. You know what I'm saying? Which
I give you
again,
that. I
you
give
know,
you that, but and
I, like, all right, this is like because I could see it both ways, and the reason why is because like when I think about the way AJ and Devontae were targeted, they still have very low targets and yards. Their number of catches from
yeah,
week 1 to week 2 went up, but it was just very slightly. You know, I do think that Kevin Patullo being the offensive coordinator, first time offensive coordinator for this team, play calling wise still leaves a lot to be desired. But again, it's only week 2. That week 1 game for us was so fucking weird. I just boloed that game because I think it was weird for both teams, and it's hard to make a judgment off of that week 1 performance. But the things that I see from a week 2, now here's the thing. Was it because it was better defense? Was it better defensive play? Or was it still less than stellar offensive poor performance? you know
so I'm gonna make your fan base mad at me
uh-oh
for what I'm about to do.
uh-oh,
Okay.
let's get them all revved up. Let's go.
Okay. So two things on that, on what it was.
Hmm.
And I will tell you in market, in the moment, when they're doing the post game, our play by on the radio, Chiefs radio, play by play color analyst, they're talking about the fact that this was an ugly game. Eagles won ugly. Danon Hughes, former Chief player, color commentator, makes the comment. He goes, "Yeah, it was ugly. These are the types of games that we expect Chiefs to win because that's what championship teams do."
Yeah.
Mitch Holtis, our play-by-play guy, kid you not, he goes, "Exactly, and the Eagles are the defending champs." So yes,
Yeah.
it was absolutely ugly. I think the reason you're doing that is because, like I said, the Chiefs have for the last couple of years treated the regular season as just a
Hmm.
tune-up to get us ready for playoffs. We're not going to show you our entire offense. Chiefs bring out trick plays and plays you've never seen in the playoffs and the Super Bowl. They're not using their whole playbook in week 1 and 2.
Right.
The Eagles are not using their full playbook in weeks
Right.
1 and 2 right now. They're doing
I
what they
I
need
agree
to
with that.
win, but they're not. So here's where I'm gonna make y'all mad because I'm gonna pass the torch. Y'all be ready for this because you are now the Kings,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Officially, you are now the Kings.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna pass the torch, and I'm sending this to the East Coast.
Oh shit.
I'm sending it to the East Coast
Okay.
because they are now your fans, according to
Okay.
everybody on talk radio right now. That tush push. Oh my goodness. This is now the Philadelphia Eagles. Chiefs fans will gladly pass it to you because all the talk has been about, oh yeah, you definitely got to outlaw the tush push now.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've listened to literally hours of debate in the last 2 days about the tush push
Yeah.
and that it's illegal. It's not illegal. Yes, you false started. Yes, there were guys lined up off sides. Referee's got to throw that flag. That doesn't
Yep.
make the play itself
Yep.
illegal. It means you made a mistake on that
Yep.
play that the refs missed.
Yep.
For Chiefs fans
That's true.
to cry about that, and they stop themselves. I will tell you, the talking heads have stopped the callers and said, "Hang on a second, guys. How long have we been accused of getting
Mm-hmm.
favorable calls from the refs?"
Mm-hmm. 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 Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's gonna your Eagles are fine. They're just building the momentum, doing what they need to take care of business. They're winning games.
Mm-hmm.
If you had lost one of these two games looking like that, then
Right.
you might have some concern. But because you've won them both, I just think they're Sirianni knows what he's doing. Jalen Hurts knows how to turn it on when he needs to.
I agree.
Um,
I think
that
I've always maintained them first four games, you don't know what you have. You don't know what kind of team you got. You're still
yeah,
learning who you are. It's week two. Again, we had a funky ass week one game, that was kind of
yeah,
crazy. Yeah, and so it makes it hard to be judgmental, but at the same time, I can't be critical, not at this point. You know,
right,
um, I do know that, how they say championship teams figure out a way to win, and they have shown me, this team has shown me that even when, we can win ugly too,
yeah,
and I don't think that, personally, I think that was still a Steve Spagnuolo defense that we went up against and won. I do think that it was a hostile environment in terms of with Arrowhead. I remember talking
absolutely.
to Eugene, and Eugene told me Arrowhead was one of the loudest places he's ever played in. And so he was like, and he said he made an emphasis to say it's one thing to be in the stands in here. He said, but it's another thing when you're down on the field and
Right.
you're at the center of everybody screaming in your direction. That's different. So for those guys to go in there and essentially do it twice in 2 years and win and come out with a win in Arrowhead, I think is still an accomplishment in of itself, Um and I thought, like I said, I thought that the Chiefs were playing like the Eagles in Andy Reid's last couple years. You know what I'm saying? You get down or what have you, for some odd reason, he gets away from the run and sticks
Yep.
to screens and taking shots downfield or what have you, you know, and then when you look at the way our defense was playing, and getting the stops, because there was a few three and outs that Patrick, it was like a back and forth game. It's going to come down to who's going to make the first mistake, the biggest mistake,
Yep.
and and the one that came happened at the most inopportune time, and under the most inopportune circumstances, and that was the end of a 13 play drive, and then for Andrew Makuba, good heads up on the rookie too,
Yeah.
to run down. I was impressed with the defensive tackle who ran down and actually uh tackled him, big number 77, I think it was.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
our rookie left tackle.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Kelsey's taking some heat for that too,
Yeah. And
because
you know what
he
though?
didn't
Rightfully
chase.
so. Rightfully so. Yeah.
Yeah.
He just stood there and looked and was like, and it was like, dog, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like it was. Here's the thing. Again, I predicted. I said that it's the sunset on the Chiefs' kingdom and the sunrise on the golden era of Philadelphia Eagles football. And
Well, well, we ain't done yet now.
I get it.
We'll see you in February and we'll
Yeah,
find out then.
if you
But
say so, I don't think so. I honestly don't think so. You know what I'm saying? I honestly don't think so. I think you'll probably go far in the playoffs, but not that far. You know what I'm saying? It's I'm looking at the AFC is so wide open. I mean, Joe Burrow going down for
That
like 3 months and everything like that, really put Cincinnati's playoff hopes, what I'm saying, in the question, hey, Carson Wentz is going to be starting in Minnesota.
hey,
It was
yeah,
like, okay, and then, Buffalo looking the way that they look, and Baltimore, I think that everybody looks like a two game play team right now and have things to fix and work on. But in terms of from what place all right, look, the Commanders, right? I think the league has caught up to them with Jaden Daniels. I mean, you see he's out, with a sprain,
yeah, yeah.
with a sprained knee. I think that shout out to the stable one. He says House of Kush. You know what I'm saying? You know who that is, right?
No, you said who?
The stable one. You know who that is.
I
That's
didn't
our
get you.
guy. That's Eugene.
By
Shout
the
out
way,
to
I just went to take a drink of my water. And if this isn't symbolic, I didn't even realize it till right now. I picked up a green glass, man.
hey, it was a natural
And
thing.
at least it wasn't dark green. At least I can. This is it's money green.
Oh, wait a minute. The stable one says, I have one shot to fire, just one. I have to. It's bad news when your star defensive tackle gets linked in victory formation by a quarterback. Yo, yo, all right. And listen, there and real quick, Philadelphia, I got you, dog. I'll let them know. For real, I got you. Um, so what was interesting is, and they're talking about this a lot here in market, okay? And there's videos of them isolating the sounds, the voices, so you
Oh
can
yeah,
hear what Chris Jones was saying. He was like, "Man, you ain't even get 100 yards," and Jalen Hurts was like, "Yeah, but we won the fucking game, so shut your bitch ass up." I was like, "Oh shit!"
oh
Like,
yeah,
you know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Shots fired.
Yeah, keep the main thing, my dude. I'm just
Yeah,
saying, like, look, you're not going. It's going to take a lot. You know what I'm saying? You're not going. He's not so easily rattled, and that just really was more so an indicator of just how bad things have gotten on Kansas City because I've seen footage of Chris Jones snapping on people,
yeah,
snapping back at coaches, snapping back there's a lot of I think within the quiet is kept within the locker room and everything like that. I think the team is a bit fractured and splintered a bit. We just don't see it until game day.
yeah. So what Eugene is pointing out is exactly right, and that is a big concern
Hmm.
to take a shot at because my opinion, Chris Jones has not lived up to his contract. I
Hmm.
think they plowed it because of the team's success. They buried the fact Karlothas had more sacks than Chris Jones did last year. And what they did is they just said, well, that's because Chris is taking up the double team and he's getting the attention, so he's making everybody else better around him. Okay, great. So what's going on now? Because in 2 weeks,
Hmm.
nobody's getting pressure. Nobody's making it better. We're watching Justin Herbert, run down the field in a critical point, and they're yelling at Chris, going, "Chris, you missed your assignment." That happens when you call other people out, and then you don't do your job. Then they're gonna start calling you out, and now you get
Hmm.
that little headbutt. I It's early in the season; those are things they can correct.
Yeah.
If you're 1-1 or 2-0, they get corrected a lot faster than when you're 0-2. So
Yeah.
this weekend going into New York has got to be a big game. And nobody thought it was going to be a big game, but this all of a sudden becomes a really big game for the Chiefs. This is a super important weekend for them.
this is for all intent and purposes, this is y'all tune-up game now. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And understand something. Though they may be 0-2, they're playing at the last weekend and almost stealing one from Dallas in Dallas. You know, the Giants are playing in basically an inspired type of football right now. You
What
know,
did they score
and
last weekend?
37 and
37.
yeah, they scored 37. They lost 40-37
Yeah.
and Russell had 450 some yards passing.
Yeah.
So
Chiefs hadn't done that in 2 weeks.
yeah, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah,
They
yeah,
scored 40 points in 2 weeks.
yeah,
And Mahomes has had 400 yards in passing in 2 weeks.
yeah,
So he did in one game. Now, I don't know if that says how bad the Cowboys are on defense. That's partly it.
yeah,
But um, but Russell gave the Chiefs fits when he was in Denver too.
yeah. Well,
In
you
fact,
know
he
they,
beat them once.
yeah, and they feel like, you know, like they was the talk around here too, because again, being where I live at, I'm in market for the Eagles, the Jets, and the Giants. You know what I'm saying? So I get all three. And
Yeah,
so, you know, like they're saying things like, you know, Russell has found the fountain of youth. You know, they want to see more. They're like some half the fan base is saying, "Fuck it, put Jackson Dart in, can't get no worse." The other half is like, "Hell no, let's ride out with Russell. He hasn't done anything to make us not want to
right,
sit him to make us want to sit him down, you know, or not play him." And
right,
so, you know, it's interesting watching them, you know, watching this fan base try to ration out, you know, the things that they see happening. But at the same time, and listen, folks, while you're here again, hit that like and subscribe button. It's the tip. That's the tip jar right there. You know, hook your boy up. I need that. You know, and so you know, those folks are trying to figure out where to go now. Now, at the end of the day, the fan base in its entirety is pissed. You know,
yeah,
they're like, this is last year. You know they want the owner gone. They want the head coach gone. They want everybody gone. Everybody gotta get fired now, as far as they're
yeah,
concerned.
yeah. Everybody, you got to get through the first 4 weeks before I start calling
Yeah,
for coaches' jobs, even with the Giants. I mean, it doesn't help them when Daniel Jones is 2-0 and you're 0-2. That's
yeah,
hurting the perspective as well.
yeah, yeah,
It
yeah,
is.
yeah. And now I was gonna say, and then you see Saquon having just won a Super Bowl, you know,
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, people leave here and they do better when they leave here. What, you
Yep.
know, what's that tell you? You know, and it's indicative of the
Mhm.
organization. It's an indictment on the organization as a whole, rather than, you know, and that's what it speaks to as far as the fan base is concerned. They're in
Yeah.
week two, and a lot of them have already given up. You know, now you know me with my shit talking. I'm just like, look, Giants, the playoffs are canceled for you. The playoffs is
Yeah,
canceled.
but I'm gonna tell you something though. You know, the Eagles have some concerns that I saw on Sunday that I'm
Hmm.
curious if you guys are watching because yes, you are the team to beat. I've heard people say Green Bay is the best team in the NFC right now. I'm not fully
Hmm.
bought in on Green Bay yet
Hmm.
because again, sample size is not big enough.
Hmm.
Uh, they may be they're in the top three in the NFC, right?
Yeah, I'll give them
Week
that.
two is still too early for me to really say who that is, but they're in the top three. That Eagles secondary
Mm.
has some work to do.
Hmm.
Your pass rush is covering up some potentially fatal flaws in that secondary. If you get a O line that can stand up to the pass rush, you,
It's all right. So the secondary is the element is one of the elements that goes into the winning ugly aspect of it all. Okay. And what I mean by that is that if you look at, if you look at week one and week two, right? Week one, George Pickens only had 30 yards. He only had like three or four catches.
Yeah.
CeeDee Lamb had 100 yards, but no touchdowns,
Yeah.
you know. So, okay, it that's not actually not, that's not bad. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm okay with that, because when you look at the stat line, that's what it tells you. But visually, it looks like
Visually,
something. It looks ugly.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yesterday,
Visually, I'm
yeah,
seeing receivers running free,
yes, but
but
actually, they're not really catching the ball. There's a lot of uh uh pass interference calls, to get down, because that was what it came down to in week one. Like, Dak was relying on the referees to throw pass interference on George Pickens, like on those type of things. That's where they came. That's what it came down to. And shout out to Mark Holmes. He's here in the chat too. Mark, while you're here, hook your boy up and hit the like button. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like, at least hook me up like
yeah,
that. I mean, I'm saying, you know,
yeah. He was waiting on a pass interference call,
yeah, right. Mark, so
bro.
and you
It
gotta
ain't happening.
understand, like here's their problem, you know, um, like, you'll hear Cowboy fans tell you it's so hard to be a Cowboys fan, and I know your origin story and everything like that. And this is like, you do realize, like, I don't think they realize what the percentage of self-inflicted wounds, this hardship that they go through is, you know what I'm saying? And they build themselves up, I'll say this, and function hashtag hit the like button. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. I'm of the opinion, when you look at what went down between Kansas City, we had to deal with Juju, and who was your other wide receiver?
Hollywood.
Hollywood, yes. Targeted a lot, you know what I'm saying? But no real yards. No,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
no.
Hollywood had 5 catches for only 30 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I get, I get the way it looks, but from a results perspective, it's like, okay, the defense and the secondary looks like a week two secondary trying to
I'll
figure
give you that.
themselves out too.
Yeah, I'll give you
And
that.
I don't even think that Adoree Jackson is going to be the starting DB2. I think eventually the move is going to be made for it to be Jacorian Bennett. You know, now I'm gonna say this to you. The question about about our safety position, oh, that was fixed. That was fixed because Andrew Makuba made his presence known all over the field. He's got a sack on Patrick Mahomes. He blew up somebody on a fourth down, on a failed fourth down try. You know what I'm saying? He
Right.
made his presence. And that was one of those big question marks coming out of training camp that went all the way through week one into week two. So from a secondary perspective, because you see how my man, the only one that had an issue was Quinyon Mitchell, and that was when Patrick threw it up to Thornton, right?
Yeah.
And he threw it into the end zone. And that was like a misread, I guess, or I think um Quinyon thought he had help or what have you. It doesn't matter, but that was a missed assignment, and Quinyon tried his best to get up there. It didn't work. Okay. But after that, but for the most part, no. I mean, I'm fine with the way the secondary was looking in terms of a week two secondary,
Okay.
and to see Andrew Makuba, do his thing, hey, and real quick, Mark, if you're still here, oh, okay, you got it, Philadelphia. Okay, yeah, because okay, so hook Philadelphia up. My man, Miami Philly says, Mia Philly says, Defense is actually overperforming for the rookies. The vets on offense are on the struggle bus. Yep. Patullo on the hot seat if he doesn't get it right next week. Uh, yeah, you know what? If if these offensive woes continue in terms of not seeing the wide receiver core get more involved in the game, you know what I'm saying, having more of a presence, I could see them doing something like bringing somebody in to serve in an advisory role for the offensive coordinator. Frank Wright, is his season is over at Stanford. You know what I'm saying? So there's some guys, there's some people, and I'll be honest with you. I am of the opinion that I hate seeing, like I don't want to see any more rookie offensive coordinators play with this Ferrari that we got here. I would like to see a coach who was a little longer in the tooth, sort of like Kellen Moore was, you know what I'm saying? You know, um, be our offensive coordinator. Again, I get Shane Steichen, you know what I'm saying, is got Daniel Jones looking like the second coming of Andrew Luck out there in Indianapolis. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But
I think Brian Schottenheimer will be available next year.
1 year? You're only giving them 1 year. 1 year.
Man,
That's
I,
the,
I get I get concerned when I see that much excitement and exuberance over a kicker in week two.
but the dude is the truth, though. The dude
He
is the
is,
truth.
but that
60
tells
some
you how
yards.
big of problems that you got on the other side of the ball when you need a 64 yarder at home after scoring
Mhm.
34, 37 points to get you into overtime.
Can't argue that.
Ooh,
Very difficult to make a case for that.
yeah,
You
yeah,
actually have a point
but
there, my friend.
yeah, but
Mhm.
y'all go have to bring it this weekend. This is gonna be a big one for you guys too, because the
I
Rams are
am
no joke.
so okay. Let's
They
thank
can
you for
score
that. Let's
points.
segue into week three now. Because you're absolutely right. I am particularly interested in what's going to happen against the Rams. This is a team that we struggled. We almost lost to in the playoffs. They play us very well. And again, I think this is going to go down to, who makes the biggest mistakes. Who makes the most, who can minimize the mistakes that are made. You know, the good news is that it's happening in our house. So the bad news is that it's happening in our house. And the reason why I say that is because this Rams team, just like everybody else we're going to play, we're getting their best shot because they're getting to go against the Philadelphia Eagles. But for them, they are coming back to the scene of a crime in their
Yep.
minds. You know what I'm saying? And they are coming to exercise some demons, and they are actually equipped to do that. You know what I'm
They are.
saying? Not like unlike Kansas City, yeah, you guys had some demons to exercise, but you did not have the personnel that could actually successfully negotiate that exorcism on on Sunday. They do, you know, and they welcome the idea of they wouldn't have it any other way with coming back to the scene of a crime and righting a very mighty wrong in their eyes. So I'm like I get it, you know. This is the next best shot that we're going to get. Every week is going to
Yeah.
be a
Every
best
week's gonna
shot.
be one.
Yeah. Some of them, and there are going to be a few of these best shots that are going to be emotionally charged because we did something that they didn't do that they felt was theirs. The Rams feel like we stole their Super Bowl. The Detroit Lions probably feel like we stole their Super Bowl. Everybody from the NFC and the AFC feels like we did something that, and then on top of that, you know, we've got like what, seven of the top 100 players from our team, 5 of them are on our team.
Right.
So it's like, okay, the number one guy is our running back. So now everyone's like, yeah, because he's number one, we gotta stop that motherfucker right there. So
You do.
yeah,
You
all
do.
this stuff
But
is coming up.
yeah, you got, I mean, Puka Nakua,
He's a problem.
he's a problem.
Mhm.
Stafford's thrown for twice as many yards as Hurts has already.
Yeah.
And like I say, I think there's a little bit of a governor on Hurts right now. I think they're intentionally throttling him down a little bit right now. We'll see this weekend.
Well, we
Uh,
last year we were mostly successful when Jalen Hurts didn't have to throw more than 25 times a game.
I
And
remember you
he's
saying that.
yep, and they've kept it at that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They've kept it at that. And his completion percentage is up there. He was hold on, I could tell you right now. 1 second. 1 second. Oh, come on. He was uh 15 of 22. Okay. Mahomes
Yeah.
was 16 of 29. And he had a passer, Jalen Hurts had a passer rating of 78 and and Patty had a passer rating of 72. Okay. So, you know, and I'm looking at
Yeah.
yeah,
Mahomes did not look good
no.
Sunday. I
Yeah.
mean, the total yards are misleading.
He had
Uh,
187 yards throwing the ball.
yeah, it's total yards for Mahomes this past weekend was misleading. Um, because you got some chunk plays in there that makes it
Yeah.
look
Yeah.
better than it really was.
The deep pass to Thornton. Yep.
Yeah, but and I started to say this earlier, didn't complete the thought because I was talking about Kelsey being on the pitch count.
Mm.
You don't normally see Mahomes running this much this early in the season
That's
either.
true too. That's true too. That's
He's
true too.
normally holding that until you're late in the season. We got to win this to get the number one seed, or we need a playoff to snatch victory out of defeat. And
Hmm.
and he rips off a run, and everybody's like, "Oh my goodness! Now what are we gonna do?"
Hmm.
You're not normally seeing him try to play Superman in weeks 1 and 2. That's what he's had to do.
Hmm.
You're gonna go on Sunday. You guys go get the Rams coming in there. They're not having to play Superman.
No.
They got a squad.
Yeah. Yeah.
They got a squad.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's
Eh,
and that's what I mean by when I say like I'm paying them a lot more attention. I'm giving them a lot more focus than I would the Dallas Cowboys. You know what I'm saying? And that's because, I think one, they seem like the team that has picked up where they left off last year. You know, and then and now here's the thing, there's some chinks in that armor as well. You know what I'm saying? Their run game is nice, you know what I'm saying? But when you think about, Stafford ain't moving like he used to. That
well,
back
he's
is an
60
issue.
years old, man.
Yeah, that
You know,
back is an issue. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And if we can get into, the backfield of the Kansas City Chiefs and put our hands on Patrick, you know what I'm saying? It's
yep.
it like this. So this game, from a defensive standpoint, has the potential to be our, like where we can catch up on sacks, if you ask me. You know what I'm saying? Like the one thing we did come out of that game pretty much to a degree unscathed. You know what I'm saying? Looking at Jalen Carter and the stinger he got or what have you. Um Jordan Davis cramping up, during the game, but they both played like 87% of the defensive snaps, of the game. Again, I understand the idea, the thought behind what you said about the secondary, but in actuality, it's actually not as bad as one may think it is, especially when you look at like the way when you look at the stats. Yes,
Yeah.
they were running around like gazelles and everything like that, but no, they weren't catching the ball like that either. They weren't getting those yards, like one would think they were.
Yeah.
That's really, like in my opinion, like what it really boils down to. You know, so again, and let me just share this to you. So yeah, Travis Kelce had 60 yards, he had 61 yards for four catches and was targeted 6 times. Thornton was targeted 5 times, only had 2 catches for 59 yards. And Hollywood Brown had five, he was targeted 5 times for 5 catches for 30 yards, so there you have it. It's like, okay, those guys was getting their yards and they was making their catches, but only one of them scored a touchdown.
Right.
you,
And it
you
wasn't the
know, so
one that I was expecting to either. That's the one that when that's the only guy that caught the
no
touchdown
one, no one said Thornton. No one said Thornton all week. You like even
all
when,
week.
yeah, I asked who was there outside of Hollywood and Juju, but I don't know. Eagles girl says, "Hey Leo and Reggie, go Birds! Eagles for the win this Sunday." I'm with you on that Eagles girl. King DV Sports says, "What's good, fellas in chat? What's good, King? Hey, hook your boy up. Hit that like button. You know what I'm saying? Hit that like button. I need, you know what I need? I need the numbers. Tip your man. You know what I'm saying? I got this. I got this Chiefs fan here. Who showed up to eat the crow.
Man,
Okay, he's eating the crow, so I got to give it to him. He showed up, y'all. He said he would, and then he came. So
you know what my daughter did to me, bro?
uh-oh.
I told her I said, yeah, I gotta go downstairs and hop on the bird section with Leo. She just looked at me and said, "Fly, Eagles, fly."
My girl,
And I went, "What did you just say?"
my girl, my
I'm
girl.
like, I could be charging you rent. We
My
talking
girl,
about some
yeah.
fly,
Hey,
Eagles, fly.
hey,
Man,
hey. I'm sending her a hat. You know what I'm saying? Got to
man, she
teach.
ain't
I,
even really a football fan. That's just
I'll send her a hat. Tell her I'm sending her one of these. You know what I'm saying? A crown.
yeah.
Tell her I'm gonna send a crown for a queen. All she
Wow.
gotta do is learn. All she gotta do is learn the call. Oh, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I gotta start watching who she hang out with because the influences. Ugh,
I'm loving
that's
it. I'm digging it. I'm digging it. Eagles girl, you heard that? His daughter, yeah, 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 yeah. Welcome to
that's
the welcome,
just
welcome to the light. She came to the light. She knows what it is. You know,
uh,
I
uh
have
but
exorcised the demons. This house is clean.
it's three losses in a row for the Chiefs going back
Ooh,
to the Super Bowl.
who y'all got next week?
We got
Oh, the
Giants this
Giants.
week. We got Giants this week, but I'm going back to the Super Bowl because this is one that they brought up in some post game. Um,
Real quick, King
three,
DV says, shout out to Reggie for his sportsmanship, but I do believe the Chiefs is the team that can make a turnaround. Then a 0-2 team that can make a turnaround. I believe that.
oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
I
We
believe
we're
that.
good. Like I say, I'm not
Yeah.
panicked yet. Now,
Yeah.
now if we're talking, if the Giants somehow slip up on you, I'm gonna have some concerns. The Ravens don't even start Eugene because I'm not talking to you the entire week.
Oh shit. Yeah.
I'm not. No,
Oh, oh. You know where is that game at?
I think it's here. Let me look real quick.
Oh.
I think it's here. I think it's KC.
Oh.
Um,
I would not be surprised if Eugene fucked around and flew in for that. Just because.
just
Just because. Just because. See, here's the thing, and understand something, Reggie. Because we have more than one reason to come to Kansas City.
Yep.
we have business too. So for us, it's the business can be the perfect backdrop to justify me and Eugene flying into Kansas City for something. Oh, we're here because we got business.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
like, so I just want you to know that when we have our staff meetings and stuff like that, and you're talking to us about, the things that we need to do, and then you say some shit like, yeah, this might have to be in person. I think you ought to take a look at the what's happening that weekend.
Look at, yeah. Yeah. Right.
You really want us there?
All right.
You
Yeah.
want us around? You want either me or Eugene or both of us in town?
Yeah.
Hey,
So yeah, that's another 3 o'clock kick at Arrowhead. Um,
I,
that's
I,
the next home game. So yeah, it's gonna be lit.
hey, I saw the footage from KC live, you know, and it was
See that?
awesome. It was
Yeah.
awesome. I was like,
Yeah.
oh,
Look good.
oh, yeah.
Look
I
good.
was
We
like,
know how to throw a party.
I was like, I should have flew in. I should have flew
Yeah.
in. But look, man, I've held you long enough, and I held this crowd watching us long enough too as well. Reggie, thank you so much, bro. You know what I'm saying? For your integrity and for coming back on here. And we want to see you throughout the season as well, because now the stakes ain't as what they used to be because we'd already got it out
Right.
the way. So now you can have an unbiased opinion as to what you're seeing regarding your team and our team. Come here and express it because again, this is the bird section, and unlike a lot of other content creators, everybody here is welcome. You know, and so
Well,
I want you to be able to feel comfortable enough that you could always come back here and talk your shit. Even if it means talking shit to us.
yeah.
Sometimes you don't know what you look like until other people tell you. King DV Sports says, I need to be on the show. Hit me up. Okay. Let's talk about it. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, Reggie, thank you so much again for coming. Everybody else, I will see y'all again tomorrow on the bird section because we're going to get into the weeds of things when it comes to the LA Rams and what we should expect and the things that we need to be thinking about. You heard what Reggie said. First thing he went to was the secondary. You know what I'm saying? You know what? While I got you here, Mr. GM, you know, what else do you see? Like, what else are you, what other than our secondary, what else are you seeing? That's a point of, emphasis, like something for us to pay attention to.
Yeah. Like I say, I think they are intentionally holding Hurts back,
Mm-hmm.
but the passing game is a concern.
Mm-hmm.
Not a huge concern, but it is a concern when you're only throwing for 100 yards in an NFL game and still winning.
Yeah.
You can't do that forever.
This is not
Uh,
sustainable. Yes, this is not a
yeah,
sustainable way of playing football.
yeah. But I think that is as much the play calling as it is. Somebody said y'all had 7 tush pushes in that game. 7. That tells me y'all ain't even not even trying. They're just like, all right, whatever. We know we got this. We're you got to throw the ball some. On
Yeah.
a couple of those second and ones,
Mm-hmm.
third and ones, instead of just lining up for the tush push, man, run that draw play and bombs away.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have felt a lot better about it. But they just went with there's like they're just pressing the easy button on offense
Mm-hmm.
and letting the defense disrupt. And we just go when you need it to. Here's the positive I will give you.
Okay.
Every time Kansas City made a mistake, the Eagles went back and scored. That speaks a lot to when you want to play. Oh, yeah. Yeah. But that's when you start feeling like, okay, but somebody go sneak up on you if you
Mm-hmm.
play like that too much.
Yeah, this is not.
So
That's why it's not sustainable. Yeah.
yeah,
King DV, hit me up via email bird section 2023 at Gmail. Okay. Bird section 2023 at Gmail. Shoot me an email with your contact info. We could talk about it. Eagles Girl 117 says Tush Push works for us Yeah, we're look, Eagles grow. This is the tush push is on its, it's on its tour of the league. It's final year, its retirement tour. So I think that I think the league is just going to get a heavy dose of it. You wanted to vote against it. You don't like it. Okay, well, you know what? We're gonna push it. We're gonna tush push it right up y'all fucking throats. You know,
Yeah,
and
I don't think it's gonna get outlawed. Me personally, I think you've got a knee jerk reaction. Look, you just knocked off the 2-time back to back champs,
yeah,
Kansas City Chiefs. Until further notice, we are still America's team. Shoot, we may be the world's team. So until y'all get to that
you
level,
couldn't help it.
no, I
You
could.
could get out of here
So
clean. You could not get out of here clean. And the way you snuck
until
that shit in there was
it,
so smooth, dog. I'll give you that,
well,
motherfucker.
until then, you're still gonna have people come cry and say, "Oh, is that doggone tush push?" Because now you picking on America's favorite.
Mm,
So
mm.
once you get through this season, if you can repeat and beat us twice in the Super Bowl, if you can do that, then you become America's sweetheart, and you become. I don't think Philly's ever had that experience.
No.
Yeah, you hadn't had the experience where everybody loves you. Y'all love being the villain, and you
Yeah,
still the
I was
villain.
gonna say, yeah, nobody listen, like so the way it works in Philly, especially here, is that, it's been like this for years. And this is what the Philly fan base has adopted, which is nobody likes us, we don't care. And that's why I thought the way we were portrayed in the Cowboys documentary,
Yeah,
was so it was fitting. It was like, yeah, see, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
It wasn't all that bad. You know what I'm saying? It was like, okay, yeah. And again, we were actually we walked into that Super Bowl last year, against you guys thinking, we're the villain. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Because we fucked up, the Disney story. Every time a team has some sort of a Disney story going on, you know, the Philadelphia Eagles are not the team that you want to play because they're gonna fuck it up. You know what I'm
Yeah, and
saying?
that's what you did. That's what you
Yeah,
did Sunday. That's why everybody's talking about push right now.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We
Yeah,
fucked
you
it up for
messed up.
everybody.
Yeah, yeah, you messed up the Disney story. You're
Yeah,
right.
yeah, and that's why because you'll hear the chant, uh, uh, no one likes us, no one likes us, no one likes us, we don't care. We're from Philly, fucking Philly. No one likes us, we don't care. That's that like
Yeah,
it's
real
so
talk.
it's been like that for so long. That's the chant, and these fuckers really believe that shit here. They
Yeah,
really don't. They really don't like no one. Don't nobody really care. Like yeah. And the moment you show any little inclination, you know what I'm saying? Like for instance, you hear how everybody's talking about the tush push and how they don't like it and it's got to go and all this other stuff. Okay, you know what the Philly fan base is thinking? Every time someone says something about the tush push, that's bitch assness. It's all bitch
it,
assness.
it is.
I hate
It
it.
is.
Bitch assness.
It is because anybody else could run it,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
others have
yeah,
tried.
yeah, yep. Even the ones who voted against it have tried.
Yeah,
Okay, and it's like, okay, you ain't like this place so much that you voted to get it outlawed, and then when it didn't happen, then you start trying to do it and still fucked it up.
yeah. Well, I'm
You
gonna
know,
tell you, Chargers ran a very close version of it last night a couple of times against the Raiders,
I
and it
saw
was
that.
extremely successful.
I saw that. I saw that.
So
I saw that. Justin Herbert. Yeah, I saw that.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
and he
it
throws a
might be.
nice ball too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. You
and
might want to keep a look when I come back on here in a few weeks. Let's see where the Chargers are at because they may
we
be the
we we
one.
actually got to play them too.
Yeah, they may be the one sneaky
Yep.
outlier out there that people are kind of talking about, but
Yep.
don't really take for real yet.
Yep. Yep. We played them at the end of the towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
closer to the last half of the season. But Saquon Barkley has already gone on record to say that he thinks that Amarion Hampton is him. He's the next great one, and that he thinks that Saquon thinks that Omar. And he said it. I think the world of mine. He said, but I think Amarion Hampton has the best cut in the league. And he was like, even though he was like, hey, listen, I'm big on my jump cut, but that kid, oh man, and it's like, oh wow, really? And it's like, yeah, he really thinks that Omari Hampton is the next great, running back in the league.
Yeah.
So, again, we're and I'm and from here on out, I'm not taking any team lightly like I did the Dallas Cowboys. They're the only team that I will take lightly because I think it's all fugazi. I think it's all, I don't think it's, you see that they signed Jadeveon Clowney, and you you
Yeah.
you let
Fool's gold.
yeah, that's what I try to explain to folks when it comes to dealing with these NFC East teams. You know what I'm saying? We don't see the Commanders until the end of the season too. We see them week 16 and week 18. That's when we see them twice to end out the season. And the last game of the season will be at our house with them. You know, and I think we got the Chargers in between. Let me see. No, we had the Chargers week 14. Yeah, so
Oh,
we played
snap.
on week 14. So I'm keeping an eye. I'm keeping an eye on all of them. I think we play the Raiders. We play the uh Raiders. Hold on. Week 15. Damn. Yeah. So we played on week 15. That's when we got the Raiders. And so, it's King DV Sports said Clowney isn't enough, Leo. Nobody can. So the tush push because of QB1 squat 600. Yeah. So I think that, definitely keeping an eye on them, but the only teams that I think are, I think age is going to really do the Commanders in, and I think, the Giants are I don't know. I don't know what to make of them, I just know that they in the basement and they'll probably end up staying there, occupying it for the rest of the
Yeah.
season, you know. King DV Sports says we good, Leo, 14-3, but I feel like we have to change what we are doing. Yeah, well, again, like everyone does from week two to week four, yeah, a lot's going to be different, and again, we're still trying to figure out who we are. I don't think we're going to know who this team is until like around week 5, week 6 at that. Again, I'm bolo in that first game against the Cowboys because it was a weird ass game. And so it's hard to really make and that's for both teams. But again, I think the Cowboys are fugazi. I think the Commanders, the Bumanders are too old, and I think the Giants are a shell of themselves, from the glory years that were all happening under Eli. So it's going to be a minute before they see anything, and then that's it. Everybody else on our schedule, I'm not taking anyone lightly outside of the NFC East teams. I just don't think that, and 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 I'm not totally sold on the Green Bay Packers either. They look good. They look really good. They just don't look better than us, in my opinion.
Yeah. They
It's
haven't done it long enough. Hadn't done it long enough.
Yeah, I need to see some more. You know what I'm saying? So with that, again, thanks, Reggie. I appreciate you coming out. Everybody else, I will see y'all tomorrow on the bird section. Oh, peace. Later, bruh.
They